Welcome, Brilliant Light Ministries. Today I'd like to speak on 2025, my predictions. I think everyone knows that we've hit a crossroads, that this is going to be a very significant year. And I agree. But I'm almost certain that within the next few years, they're going to be significant. One of the reasons is that Jesus has been gone now, but died about 2,000 years ago and some change. He died when he was 33, so we're at 25, give or take a couple of years. The next decade is going to be significant. It's going to be unlike any other decade we have ever lived. I'm a man who believes in biblical prophecies, and so I believe we're entering the time of sorrows. Now, the time of sorrows and tribulations, it varies. For example, COVID. For some families were totally just annihilated. That was, for the surviving members, that was a time of sorrows. There's those in Gaza, for example, when the bombs coming down on the children, et cetera, and so forth, and they're running from one side of the territory or whatever to the other, trying to escape death, and everybody's dying and starving and all that. That's exactly the prophecies that Jesus had spoke on. When you see these buildings, not one will be standing, and it'll be a grief or a sorrow or a hardship that no one has ever seen, the earth that nobody has ever seen before. And you'll be praying for death, but death will evade you. So you can see that being a reality for the residents of Gaza. My point I'm trying to make is that this concept that is going to be an entire earth going through apocalypse and Armageddon, no man knows the hour. So I'm not. But I can say that it's going to be significant. There's going to be a collective. How big of a collective? Is it going to be the final of all, where accumulates to the point where Jesus coming back and the end of the age and this is it? No man knows that. But this is going to be more significant. Like, for example, Hitler. Hitler would have been an example of the Antichrist. For people in the Jewish community in Germany at the time, and for the region, that was the time of sorrows and the time of war, and the horsemen, the white horsemen given the crown, that was Hitler, and the red horsemen could have been the Allied forces, and then the black horsemen is the depression that followed, the area. And then the Great Depression, I don't know. And then the Pale Horse was all the disease and death that was rampant in Germany after the Allies decimated the area. So that there was the whole cycle of four horsemen and the apocalypse right there in Germany, but to some degree even the West in general. So we haven't seen nothing like that since then, and that's the 40s. So now what's coming? Is it going to be as significant as all of that? I believe so. Will it be the final? No man knows the hour. One of the reasons why I believe that this is major that we're entering in is the story of Babel. Remember when the people tried to build a Tower of Babel to reach God, and God had to, disrupt them? Basically, that was technology of their age, of their era, getting to the point that was so advanced that God was like, I got to step in on this because you guys ain't ready to get all that advanced. Just the concept of trying to build, AI to me is the Tower of Babel. God, God's going to have to do something about that. That's that technology that's way more advanced than our wisdom. That's like a child with a knife. You can't allow a child to have a knife or a gun, we're children in our wisdom. We can't have that kind of power and that kind of technology. I believe that God will conclude and end that. Global warming. Global warming, I believe, is another indication of why I believe that we're living at a time that's going to be more catastrophic or, serious than any other time that ever has been in history. Global warming is going to cause a lot of stress and shifts in society. When that happens, and a lot of disruption. When a lot of disruption happens, it opens up the door or the portals for a whole lot of different kind of things to happen. One of the things about global warming is the transfer of populations and fires and tornadoes. And, when the world has a fever, all kind of things happen. The world is a living, breathing organism. So if it's sick, it's just going to have all kind of, and that falls into biblical prophecies about how there'll be earthquakes and storms and et cetera and so forth. I also think that God has warned about having a king, and the world is now turned to authoritative rules or, autocratic rule, or I don't know what you want to call it. Basically turning to a king. A lot of people, liberal democracy and all that, where you vote someone in every few years and you only get a couple term limits. That's on its heels. A lot of countries are opting to have a king. So it's an ego boost to have a king. The people want to see that kind of thing. Where it's not just a bunch of people voting all the time and fighting and debating. They want to see a king calling a show, calling the shots. But God warned about that. You do not want a king, because kings become paranoid and mean and old and senile and crazy and start wars and get out. They have yes men, and they start having good old boy club for real oligarchs. And it just becomes a cesspool of corruption and favoritism, and just becomes a private club that everybody else, only a few are members of. So, also think that karma is real. Karma is real, but karma is a complicated thing. It's not necessarily, people don't think about, you do something and something will happen to you. Well, karma could be your family. If your great great grandmother was, doing a lot of dark magic, etc. and so forth, sacrifices, etc. and so forth, that could be your butt. I mean, you're getting that karma. Your race, they're involved in some stuff, or your country, or your generation of people, regardless of what race, gender, nationality. Yeah. So karma can come in all kind of ways. So when we talk about America, first of all, the Bible speaks on the great city falling, So that's very, that's that merchants traded with, et cetera, and so forth. That's us. That's America. That's it. Where everybody around the world looks at America and be like, wow, especially young people from around the world, to come here and get you some money and a house, and be a big shot and trade with it and, come up if you know how to come up. And the Bible talks about that great city will fall, Karma. This country is built a lot on if you trace back slavery, the West in general, Europe, Germany, France, England, and America built their wealth on slavery. Slavery, every race and every place has had slavery, but it's been more like indentured servitude. But nothing like this. Nothing like what the West did, and the destruction they did on people. The way to destroy people's souls and minds in order to transform them from proud Africans into slaves. It was so systematic and demonic. And reparations were never paid. So there's a karma from that. And of course, there's karma from all kinds of other atrocities, you know. So, saying all that, I believe 2025 and 10 years following that is going to be very, very serious. So, what do you do? What can you do? And you can stop food and water and toilet paper and get all paranoid and scared, and you know. Or you can stop praying. God lead me to the right book, lead me to the right information, the right religious practice for me. You can start meditating, breathing meditation. You don't got to be in front of meditation. Not you praying to Buddha or nothing. It's just about filling my whole body with love, being present with yourself, filling it with light. Breathing meditation is a good one to keep yourself balanced. Just make a decision to walk with God. Repent and walk with God. Atone, walk with God. He'll lead you. You know? Make that decision now, because the problem is that when tragedy and things get as what it seems that they may, it'll be so traumatic that it may be difficult to establish a good spiritual life. That'd be similar to what the Bible speaks on if you build your house on sand, that when a storm comes in, you'll be washed away. So if you start building your house now on rock, that when a storm comes in, you're going to be all right. Now, I can't make a guarantee on anything, but that is what you have to do to prepare. And what else can you do? If a storm is coming or war is coming or whatever, you prepare by stocking up on stuff. But if we're entering in a biblical time, although from 3D, obviously there's some, there's things that are going to require, but if we're entering biblical times, then what is as equally important, but I believe much more important, is to prepare on a spiritual, psychological, metaphysical, emotional level. If you can resonate with my message, tune in with me, because I plan to walk y'all through all it is for the next 10 years. God bless. Get with me. Peace.